On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Ethan does magic, Shannon pays homage to the Dark Lord, and Tony crashes into a lot of boxes. We talk about the week's biggest news and answer your questions. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
Hey, Tony.
What's going on, sir?
I finally did it.
What?
I saw John Wick 1 and 2.
You have?
And the third one comes out this month.
Yes, it does.
I know, it's crazy.
So what'd you think?
First one was good. Second one was not as good.
But not bad.
It was more of the same, really, but to a different extent.
Yes.
Kind of like what you would get with, I guess, The Hangover and some other movies, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the first two movies are both based on basically the same principle. And I think the third one, they're going to change things up quite a bit.
Yeah, considering how the second one ended.
Yeah.
And then from the previews, he's talking to the same people. It's like, oh, okay, well, good.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the third movie. So that will be quite fun to watch, I think. So then also joining us this week, we got Shannon.
John Wick actually has quite possibly the best gunplay in cinema ever.
Have you seen a movie called Equilibrium?
No, I have not.
You need to watch that if you want some good gunplay in a movie.
Okay.
That is, it's Sean Bean and Christian Bale, and they do some crazy gun kung fu type stuff.
Nice.
In that movie.
Gun fu.
Awesome. So, I love that movie. And I don't want to spoil anything.
The John Wick movies kind of reminded me of Shoot 'em Up.
Okay.
Where it's just crazy gun action. That's what you're really wanting to see.
Yeah. Well, they know what their audience wants, and so you get that in, bucketfuls of that movie. So
Equilibrium is HDX ready with $2 disc to digital.
You should watch it because it is great.
For $2, I'll check it out.
It is a dystopian future movie where the government has gotten rid of emotions because emotions are bad, period. Whether they're good emotions, bad emotions, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I blame the emotions.
And Christian Bale's character doesn't think that's a good thing. So, you should definitely watch it. And then tell me what you think, because I want to know.
I am copying the UPC and putting it into a UPC generator right now.
Oh my gosh.
Scan it on my phone. Voodoo
needs
a better system.
Straight up. I still wish disc to digital worked in my house.
Hey, it's not my fault those satellites don't know where you're at.
No, apparently my house is the tree in my backyard.
Well, just walk into your backyard and scan things by the tree.
Yeah, I haven't even tried to see if that works, but whenever I pull up my house on the GPS and I put in my address, the dot is in the middle of my backyard.
Well, it's not wrong.
So, there you go. So what have you been playing, or in your case, Shannon, I guess watching this week?
So I didn't get a whole lot of video games to play outside of one in particular for review that I can't discuss yet.
No.
So yeah. One cool thing I can talk about video game wise though is I did finally get Lauren to try out Beat Saber this week, which was an incredible experience. The kids were asleep. She was having fun. I put it on easy. I turned no fail mode on. I walked her through the very, playing $100 bills on easy with no fail on. And the very next thing she does, without taking the headset off and asking me, what do I do next? She turns no fail off picks a different song, goes right into it. She was comfortable with it. It felt good. She had a good time. I think she played 4 or 5 songs before she got her workout out of it. So it's an intense game. It's a lot of fun and good for spousal or significant other play. Highly recommend for
I could almost
anyone.
guarantee I couldn't get that to happen.
Man, I think that it is a game that appeals to anybody. If you tell people, do you want to dance with lightsabers while you listen to awesome music? Yes, is the only acceptable answer.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that's the answer I would get.
It's kind of dangerous in public locations.
Yeah, but you don't have to be in public. It just in the security of your own home.
I'm gonna go down to the rave with my lightsabers and dance next to people.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
Jedi raves would be amazing.
Or
You
bloody.
know what? I bet in VR chat, I bet it's already a thing.
It very well could be.
Oh man. So in the absence of a whole lot of video game stuff I can talk about, I do want to discuss a series on Netflix that I knew nothing about until I saw the advert that season 2 was available, and that is The Adventures of Sabrina. So I grew up in the generation of TGIF coming on ABC, and I loved sitting down and watching Sabrina right after Boy Meets World. And this is basically a retelling of Sabrina with the dark, incredibly dark and twisted side that comes from watching a show like Charmed. Do you guys have any familiarity with the TBS show Charmed?
Yeah, the original, the good one.
Yes.
I actively chose not to watch it.
Okay.
But I did watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Okay.
Because her uncle is Shang Tsung. Mortal Kombat.
You know what?
It's canon.
You are right.
It is very canon.
That is correct. I didn't even piece that together.
It was an advertising thing, and I still find it hilarious to this day that she's part of the Mortal Kombat universe.
Oh man, it is a Warner Brothers property, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So it's basically Sabrina, but dark and twisted, and it's really good. And I powered through the whole first season this week, and if anybody, it is, first of all, it is not at all kid friendly, not very vulgar, but very gory. And
see, that's been my biggest problem with both this and something like Riverdale, is that that's not what those original comics were. And it's far too different from those original comics for me.
So it was Sabrina a comic originally?
Yeah, it was from Archie Comics.
See, I didn't know that.
Sabrina was a character in Archie Comics.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, like the only thing I knew of Sabrina was the show with Melissa Joan Hart, as watching that as a kid. So, but yeah, I like this a whole lot. I remember sitting down to watch the Charmed series with my mom all the time every week, and this is that, but with the story of Sabrina and Harvey Kinkle and going through high school as a half witch. Like it's very cool. I like it a whole lot. Highly recommend if that sounds interesting to anyone. So, but that is it for me.
Okay. What about you, Ethan?
I backed a game on Kickstarter a while back because of Shannon.
Okay.
A little game called Micro Mages.
Oh yeah.
And they're starting. This is the month of May. This is when they said they were going to get the physical copies out and all that fun stuff. So I haven't got the physical copy yet, but they gave me the digital Steam version and the itch.io version. So
cool.
So that was really cool. The itch.io copy came with the PC version, the portable version. I'm not sure why it's called portable when it's the same game. And then the ROM for NES.
Cool.
So I've kind of been playing Micro Mages. This is a game by Morph. Is it Morph Cat?
Morph Cat.
Yeah, Morph Cat Games. There we go. And it is very much an NES style game where I'm trying to find the description on here because I was trying to find something else on it earlier. Okay, it is a platforming game for the NES. You can play solo or up to 4 players simultaneously. And you can even play it in a way where you're trying to get the best score or cooperate to overcome challenging sections. It's very basic. Because it's a platformer, so you're the little mage guy. You move left, right. You can hold up or press down, I guess. Pressing down makes him dance. It's adorable. That's all you need to know for that part. But you can shoot in those 4 directions that you're holding. So whatever your spell, you only have the one spell, but you can shoot it that way. And you can actually charge it up, which I didn't know for probably the first 3 or 4 attempts of the game that I made. And that can kind of act as a double jump. And you can basically jump on a wall, Mega Man X style, and jump off of it.
Yeah.
So that's how you climb this tower and fight these little enemies, such as skeletons, and then there's snakes. Eventually you find goats, bigger skeletons, and some goblin-looking creatures. It's really fun. I'm really enjoying this. And they had to get the game under 40 kilobytes to be able to run on the NES for some reason. I don't know the science why they chose to do all that when they could have just gone bigger on the card that you would insert in there, unless it was a pricing thing that they did that for. But I think they actually did because it was a challenge, maybe, if I remember.
Yeah.
But they got it down to like 32 kilobytes.
That's awesome.
The PC version's 9 or 10 megabytes.
That's amazing to think that they made a game with that much content at that small size.
Yeah, I don't understand how it's that much smaller on the NES compared to the PC version. I don't even know what's running different on there.
I would imagine the PC, it may be like pre-recorded music or something, whereas the NES version is just running. Oh crud! What is it called? It's not compressed audio files. It's just punching that code out, and I can't remember what the code is called.
I don't see it on here.
That may be the case, but even I've seen games on the Switch that are that style that are tiny files. So it's really strange that the size difference is so big in this game.
I wanted to say it did online multiplayer, but from what I could tell on there, it's local. And I thought that was why the PC version had more stuff too. It was to handle that.
NSF files.
NSF files. Okay, well. Anyway, I realized I haven't used my NES in many of a year. Actually, I have like 3 or 4 of them behind me on the shelf. I don't know where my Retron 5 is, or if it'll even run this game, so I'm not going to bother with that. But I did go and buy a special screwdriver kit for Nintendo consoles and controllers and game cartridges to help take those apart so I can clean stuff on them. Even though the NES itself should be like a basic screwdriver set, I think, is what I was told by Jason. But I needed the set anyway for some other projects So I'm gonna
The,
clean
the
my
NES
NES.
cartridges are just Phillips head. They didn't start using Tri-Wing or those security bits until Super.
Okay, good to know. I have a Super Famicom I need to fix the shell on a bit. But I do need to go and do the boiling technique for the NES to fix a thing on that. And once I get that all cleaned up, I should be ready to run Micro Mage's physical cart when it comes in.
That'll be awesome.
Nice.
Tony, what have you been playing?
Oh, let's see. I haven't really been playing anything new, so I've gone back and have booted up a couple of games that I haven't finished yet. One, because it got a new update this week, Starlink got a ton of new content. Some of it for free, some of it is paid content. They dropped a new thing called they dropped a new area called the Crimson Moon, and there's a bunch of missions that you can do on there, including some Wipeout or F-Zero style racing missions where they've built tracks that you race around.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. So, and that is part of the free content download. So,
Awesome.
if you haven't downloaded in a while, it's a large update. It was like 9.8 gigs on the Switch.
Jeez.
But not only did they do that, there's a bunch of other missions that you can do. There's like arena battles now in there as well. I haven't really messed around with those too much though. And then there's a ton of new Star Fox content, including all of the members of the Star Fox squad are now playable characters. So you can play as Slippy or Falco or the rabbit whose name I can't remember. But
Peppy.
Peppy, yeah. So those are paid content, though. I think it's $12 to get all of the new Star Fox characters, and I think there's some other things that come with them. But they also dropped like 4 or 5 new playable characters, a bunch of new ships, a bunch of new weapons.
Yeah. So it looks like the starship packs are $12.99 a piece.
Yeah.
The pilots are $3.99, and the weapon packs are $4.99.
Yeah.
They
Or there's a
also
bundle
did-
for like 50.
Yeah, they did a season pass number 2. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
So I don't know if it's because the game is still really popular or if they just had all this content that they're trying to get out. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about Starlink lately.
So Starlink is really good.
It is really good.
I played through the entire base game. I didn't go off and do all of the like the foraging stuff that you have to do on each of the planets.
Yeah.
But I finished the main story and had a whole lot of fun with it. The fact that they added more content and added cool F-Zero racing stuff gives me a reason to go back and check it out again.
I think there's like 4 tracks that they added.
Cool. I like that. One of my favorite things to do in the game is to just fly the ships around. You get in the R-Wing and just boost yourself off of stuff. You can do you can launch yourself off of the terrain in some really awesome ways and do do barrel rolls and flip your ship in some cool ways by clicking in the sticks and doing, it's just fun to fly the ships.
I have been saying since I first played the game, I think Nintendo needs to let Ubisoft have the Star Fox license for a game.
Yeah.
I think Starlink has done best on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because of the Star Fox content they put in the game, and if nothing else, that is a good proof of concept that Ubisoft could do something interesting with the Star Fox license.
If you need proof of how much better the Switch version has done, the PS4 and Xbox copies have hit literally $10 and still have not sold out from retailers, yet the Switch has not dropped below 30.
Yeah.
Anytime I look up Starlink to get footage for the show, it's always the Star Fox footage. I cannot find regular footage.
I mean, that's what people wanted to play. I think Nintendo, they did right by putting all that content in there.
Yeah, and I think essentially the story doesn't do a whole lot to credit the Star Fox series. It's just kind of like a side thing for the crew, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, it's probably the best Star Fox game we've had since Star Fox 64.
Well, and the thing is, it's interesting stuff, and the characters are all really well done. The models are great. The voice acting is really good. I want to see a new Star Fox game that is better than Zero. That's a fairly low bar, but
Not holding back on that one.
I think this shows that people want more Star Fox.
Good Star Fox, not Zero.
Exactly.
Controls are a very important thing. You don't mess with that.
And the controls in Starlink work. They are very good.
Exactly.
You don't have to do, crazy gimmicky stuff to make a game interesting and fun. Just make it fun. And Ubisoft did that. Ubisoft has done good with the licenses that Nintendo has let them have recently. I think we need to see some more from that partnership.
Yep, I would agree. My 180 on the Mario and Rabbids stands to give you credit on that statement, sir. I thought it was the stupidest thing, and it's actually quite a lot of fun.
It is a great game. And they keep doing stuff with that. They have contests that they do all the time. I get emails about it every 2 or 3 weeks. They're doing a new contest with see how fast you can get through this part of the game and things like that. So
That's cool.
They're doing some interesting stuff with the properties they've been given. I want to see. I think they've proven they can do a little more. So, then the other game that I play, and I just want to touch on this briefly, Crash Bandicoot. I have started going back through the first Crash Bandicoot game because I've never beaten it, and everybody has that one or two, list of 1 or 2 games that has beaten them, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And Crash Bandicoot is on the top of that list for me. I played it, back in the mid '90s, never finished it. Started playing it again on the Switch and never finished it. I think I'm about 8 levels from the end now. I'm not going to let that game beat me. I am going to finish Crash Bandicoot 1.
Nice.
So, I'm getting close. I can see the end of the map. So, hopefully by this time next week, I will have beaten that game. But that is it for me. So let's take a quick break. We will come back and we'll talk about the news. So guys, did you see the Sonic trailer this week?
Yeah.
I saw an abomination.
Oh, come on.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Very bad.
I'd still see it.
I'm sure we all would, but we wouldn't be happy about it.
I'd be happy about it. I didn't think it was that bad.
It was bad. It's got to go away fast.
Part of my opinion did change a little bit this week, and that is my thoughts on Jim Carrey. Initially, I thought it was far too much Jim Carrey and not enough Eggman, but I went back and watched some stuff with Eggman, and he does that character pretty well.
He grows on you.
Like, especially compared to the Netflix show.
Netflix show?
Hulu show. It's on one of those.
Which one? No, the show. Which show is it?
Sonic Boom.
Okay, yeah, that
Oh.
that Eggman is more comical, so I can see it being working in that favor then, yeah.
Yeah. But like the biggest issue that I have with it is it's just another video game movie where they've thrown it into a modern day the military shows up, and the same thing is going to happen that's happened in every other movie like that. And, of course, Sonic's design is atrocious.
It could always be worse, Tony.
I don't know that it could get much worse.
Would you like unrefuted?
No, do not show him that.
Oh, come on, live react.
Apparently, there's some picture that you guys know about that I've not seen.
I'm trying to help you, Tony.
So, I've seen people this week comparing it to like the werehog and saying that was as bad. But
the werehog.
Like everything about every video game version of Sonic the Hedgehog has stayed pretty true to the character. Even the werehog looks like Sonic the Hedgehog, just bigger and with spiky shoes
and blue arms.
So, the internet was, as you would expect, on fire because of the Sonic trailer this week.
The internet was on fire like a month ago because of the image leaks and the posters.
Yes. But now that they've seen him in action and seen the trailer and listened to Gangster's Paradise...
This is all the gasoline being poured on that fire from a month ago.
The movie studio has said, you know what? We've heard everybody complaining. We're going to make changes to the character.
I think this was a foolish decision on their part because now you're giving the internet power. You're giving the screaming.
I think what happened was they saw the Detective Pikachu trailer and said, "Oh, we messed up."
See, I think you're right, Shannon, but I also think it never should have gotten to the point that this would have happened. They have had that character's design for a long time, and somebody has to have said, you know what? That's not going to work. So, and within a couple of days, there were pictures going around of people that have taken still images from that trailer and quote unquote fixed it and put in a Sonic design that is closer to Sonic from the video games.
I hope it looks good.
Yeah.
Then Shannon can get the picture 2.0.
Gosh. There are just some things that you see on the internet that you just can't ever get out of your head.
I just don't want to know what you guys are talking about at this point.
It's gross.
Just thank your lucky Ethan, Tony. Just thank your lucky Ethan.
Thank you, lucky Ethan.
You're so welcome. I had to deal with it twice. First from Jason and then from Shannon.
I didn't know Jason had already shared it with me.
He sent it to me, and I can't just ask him to delete it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to send a bunch of pictures just to get this off the screen.
So, the movie was supposed to come out later this year. They've not said whether this is going to cause a delay or not to the release of the film. But we'll see. I don't know that just redesigning Sonic is going to help the movie.
Yeah.
But it might make it at least more bearable. I don't know. I think even aside from Sonic's design, I don't think the movie looked very interesting.
It's going to be a silly action video game movie for kids.
Exactly.
That's true. The biggest thing that I think is that none of these characters should ever be put into a modern day setting. If you're going to make a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, make it an animated movie that actually looks like a Sonic the Hedgehog game.
Then you Christian Whitehead to help with it.
Saying make a side-scrolling Sonic movie?
Well, no, but there are certain things visually and thematically that would have to be in the movie, and putting it in a modern day, in a real world setting like that, I don't think works. So,
Yeah. Oh. There was something
It worked. It worked for Sonic
think-
Adventure.
I,
So yeah, it worked for Sonic Adventure. Real world setting, people. And then the second one, he's
yeah,
getting arrested.
I have not played that game.
Sonic Adventures are both Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are pretty good. Adventure 2 is far better than Adventure 1.
Adventure Two
If
is
not,
made by the U.S. Sonic team. That's the cool part about that.
if not just for the fact that City Escape is amazing.
It's the national anthem, man.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to keep interrupting you.
No, you're fine.
Epic Games this week bought a studio.
Really?
They purchased the developers of Rocket League, Psyonix.
Why?
Because they wanted all that sweet Rocket League money.
Isn't Rocket League really big on Steam still?
It is.
It's big on Steam and other PC platforms. Yes.
So a lot of people said, based on some combinations of wording in the press release from Epic Games saying they purchased Psyonix, that later this year the game would no longer be on sale on Steam. And people were, I think, rightly upset about that. But Epic Games has come out since that time and said, we never said that.
Totally said that.
So, they have recently come out and said we are continuing to sell Rocket League on Steam and have not announced plans to stop selling the game there. Rocket League remains available for new purchasers on Steam, and long-term plans will be announced in the future. That's just we're not talking about it now, but tomorrow we could announce that
The
Steam
future has changed, and they're wanting to get rid
yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Gosh. They're picking a fight with Steam, and Steam's just like, okay, yeah, you guys have fun doing your thing, but we're still selling games here, so whatever. It's like someone trying to be a minor inconvenience to you. That's all Epic's doing right now.
Well, they're trying to play, the long game and a big game, but all it's doing is angering people who want to play games.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I think the PC market is going to continue to get fractured further and further. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I understand like how like Ubisoft, EA, and some other big companies have their own online stores now that sell their games. But you look at the Steam store, and you have I think they just hit 1 billion users officially earlier
Something
this
like
week.
that.
So
Yeah.
so there's that versus maybe the probably 100,000 or maybe I don't know what I'm throwing out random numbers that I don't understand at the moment, so I'm gonna back off of that real quick. But you have like the Uplay system or the EA Origin, and it's like no one likes these programs; they suck.
Yeah.
Whereas Steam, don't get me wrong, it's bad design, but it's bad design we accept and we've adjusted to.
It's bad design that's had almost, a decade? If not longer.
No, it's
If
had
not
more than a
longer.
decade.
Yeah. So,
And I understand people having, all these different companies wanting their things. And it's not like those games are not available on PC anymore. So it's not like that you're losing the game. But at the same time, if I have to have Origin running and Uplay running and the Epic Game Store running and whatever Twitch's store is and all of these different places have all of these games, you kind of forget where the games are that you've bought.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing I like about the Twitch store, well, it's not even, they don't have a store anymore, but you still get free games monthly from them, is it's part of their app where you can go and watch Twitch streams like you would on the website. So in essence, it's easier to watch it just on the app, so I can still use a web browser independently.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm over in Twitch or not Twitch, Steam playing a game or whatever. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah. I think it's making the store your launcher really is difficult when you have to have a bunch of different stores. But I know the revenue share and like a lot of the ways that Steam handles indie developers and subsidizes the expenses for huge publishers is a lot of what led to Epic doing and making the business practices that they are gearing towards.
Yeah.
But I think the explosion of money that Fortnite became just kind of it was throwing gas on a small fire, and it just blew up really fast.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking way too big right now.
Right.
And you're going to start to see all of these companies race for the exclusives, and that's causing problems in like the streaming service department already. And you can start to see those things cracking, and people, I think, are already like, you know what? I'd really just like one place where I can get all of this stuff, so I don't have to open this to watch this and then turn around and open this to watch this and go back and forth between all these different things.
Yeah, you go to YouTube to watch videos, not so you can watch streamers. You go to Twitch to watch streamers.
So, as much as I think people want, or companies want all of these different things, it's not going to be sustainable in the long run. And more openness and less exclusives is going to be the way to go. And I think you're starting to see that a little bit with some other companies, like Microsoft, where they're just like, you know what? Just put our stuff on everything because we're going to get some money from it regardless.
Good guy, right. Microsoft. Who knew?
What do I keep saying? If they're in charge of the digital future, I'm on board.
So you're seeing that with Microsoft. I think you could, with whatever is going on with Microsoft and Nintendo, I don't think we're ever going to see Mario on, Xbox Live, but there could be something, Nintendo is opening up to that as well in some form.
Yep.
So, and I think those two companies are going to be rewarded by players for opening their platforms rather than closing them and making them, tightening those screws and making it harder to get things. The easier it is for someone to buy something, the more likely they're going to be to buy something.
Exactly.
So, we will see. Epic promises right now they're not taking Rocket League off of Steam, but that could happen in the future.
It's kind of like saying that they'll change the way Sonic looks in the movie.
Oh, Sonic. You can't catch a break, can you? You guys want to know about some free games that are going to be available this month?
Sure.
Okay. If you have games with gold, do either of you have games with gold?
I absolutely do.
So there are 4 games that will be available on Games with Gold this month.
I didn't grab last month's.
You better do that.
No.
Nope, it's too late.
It's too late. Marooners is one. Will be available the entire month.
Okay.
The Golf Club 2019 featuring the PGA Tour will be available
Sweet.
beginning May 16th. I want that to come to PlayStation Plus. Uh,
Uh,
I've 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 got the game previous to that, the Golf Club 2. I really want to play 2019. That will be available beginning May 16th.
Cool.
Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon, which is a
Yes.
360 game available through backwards compatibility,
Love
is
it.
available now through the 15th.
EDF. EDF.
EDF. EDF.
And then the last one, another 360 game, Comic Jumper,
Ah,
Yes.
will be available on May 16th.
Awesome.
I already own that, but that was a pretty fun little game.
I have played Comic Jumper through Game Pass, and I would be happy to add that to my owned library. So, man, this is a good month.
Yeah.
Well, you might not be so happy when we start talking about PlayStation here.
Well,
Well,
PlayStation screwed up months ago. So,
Yep.
PlayStation Plus has 2 games that will be available this month. What Becomes of Edith Finch.
which is an amazing game.
I actually think I want to play this one.
You should play it, and you should play it with the family. It is 100% family friendly. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours long. It to a viewer, it is experienced like a movie. It is very good. Almost everything is voice narrated. You could it's like a walking simulator. Just explore the house and uncover the story, and I enjoyed it a whole lot.
And then the other one is the first Overcooked game.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess for the people who don't have it.
I didn't have it, so that's fine.
Really?
I think I got it on something free at some. Was it free on?
It was free on Xbox a few months ago, but Overcooked was also like $2 or $3 in a flash sale a handful of times.
Yeah.
It's
I swear I
been
have a copy
really
of this.
cheap.
Let's see.
And then
Oh, I have it on Steam. Okay. Problem. Yeah. Sorry.
Nintendo Switch Online, they just announced their games that they'll be adding to the NES library earlier today. Donkey Kong Jr., Clue Land, and Versus Excite Bike.
Yeah.
So you can look forward to those hot NES releases, and of course they'll probably throw in a couple of their special whatever versions of the games as well. You know, where they give you a bunch of stuff, late game stuff to play the game in a slightly powered up form.
Game Genie versions of the game.
Exactly. So there you go. Those are your free games that will be available on consoles in the month of May.
Cool.
And then you got a couple news stories in here about Pokemon, Shannon?
I do. Okay, so first of all, this Friday, Detective Pikachu comes out in theaters, May 10th. And there are a handful of promotional cards that are going to be at different retailers, and I say card game Pokemon card. So first of all, on May 10th at the movie theater, if you go see the movie, you get a Detective Pikachu card. On May 10th, starting May 10th, it doesn't have to be on the date May 10th, but you should be able to get a Snubble card from GameStop. Those usually aren't sitting out anywhere for you to just grab one. You may have to go in and ask the employee if you can have one.
Okay.
Starting on the 11th, Psyduck is going to be given away at Target. In my experience, when Target does Pokemon promotions, it's usually only available on that day. So it's entirely possible that it will be at the electronics counter, and it'll only be available on the 11th, and they will probably trash them at most stores following that if any cards are left over.
They should not trash them.
They shouldn't, but most stores do because that's the instructions that they're given with those kits. Like it'll say, hey, this Pokemon promotion is on this day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and that's when we're giving them away. And if you don't get it, they're gone. There are a handful of stores I know of in Memphis that they will hold on to that stuff, but there are others that it goes in the compactor. So, and then I have no idea what Walmarts are doing it because the Pokemon website says that it's select Walmarts, whereas the others, GameStop and Target, it's every GameStop and Target. But on the 18th, they're giving away a Bulbasaur promotional card at select Walmart locations. So, yeah, and the Pokemon website doesn't give any information as to what Walmarts are going to do it. And trying to look it up on Walmart's website just gives me a bunch of shopping links for Pokemon cards. So I don't think one hand is talking to the other hand on that. I also don't know where in the world you would have to go in the store to find those. That's going to be trial and error because at Target you go back to electronics because in every Target the electronics section is right over by toys.
Yeah.
And they put their trading cards over in the toy section. Walmart, their trading cards are up by the front registers.
Yeah.
And toys and electronics are way in the back of the store. So I have no clue where that's going to be.
You'll go to customer service and have
Probably.
to stand in line and wait for
I'll go to customer service and try to explain to a lady that I'm looking for this and show her the thing on the website and then listen to somebody, oh, we don't do that here. And then find out the next day, oh yeah, they were doing it.
Yeah.
Just that lady didn't know about it. So I don't know. So yeah, in-store promotional cards at different retailers. All of that. The coolest thing about these cards and the new Detective Pikachu mini run of cards is that they're all the artwork on all the cards are the CG animated lifelike Pokemon from the movie.
Yeah, they look really good. You can see them
too.
There's a website you can go and check out all the cards.
Yeah, you can go to PokemonTCG.com. So, and then also on the Pokemon news, the Pokemon Pass app came out this week. This app is basically replacing retailer promotional cards for getting legendary Pokemon or limited release Pokemon that are holding items exclusive to stores. This has been an ongoing thing since the DS era. I think even the Game Boy games, you would have to go to Toys R Us to get specific Pokemon traded to you at events. But what this new app, it's on iOS and Android, does is it uses your location to, first of all, when you launch the app, you sign into your Pokemon Trainer Club ID that you've either used for Pokemon Go or for setting up a Pokemon bank account or for setting up the Pokemon Let's Go. Like if you linked your Pokemon Let's Go to the Pokemon servers, you had to create a Trainer Club ID.
Yeah.
With this new thing on the mobile app, the Pokemon Pass app, it is essentially pinging your location and saying, hey, I see that you're in the store that we're doing this event at. Now I'm going to credit you this Pokemon for such and such a game. Because the way they've always done it is you have to go into the retailer, find a little card with a scratch-off code, and then type in like a 26-digit alphanumeric code in the receive a gift section of the DS games or the 3DS games or Pokemon Let's Go. And usually those codes are only good for like a month. So after that month passes, you can't redeem the codes. So it's always been a mess, and it usually creates a big cluster of codes being sold on eBay because somebody decided to just grab the whole stack of them at Target because nobody was looking, or some nonsense.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're doing this and they're finally using some form of technology to subvert jerks is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you log in with your trainer ID. I guess I should have fact checked. There's an upcoming promotion at Target, and it may coincide with that giveaway on the 11th, but I can't tell right now. But yeah, there's a giveaway with a shiny Eevee or a shiny Pikachu at Target on on the 11th, from the 11th to the 26th of June, from the 11th of May to the 26th of June. If you go into a Target store and launch that Pokemon Pass app, it will give you either a shiny Eevee if you're playing Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, or a shiny Pikachu if you're playing Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.
Okay.
So that's all the Pokemon news. Nah. Go see Detective Pikachu.
At some point, I will. So, our last little news story this week is about Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Shannon, you just got a nice thing in the mail about that.
I did. I got Curse of the Moon in the mail today, or yesterday.
And you haven't played that game yet, so you are in for a treat.
I played the very beginning of the first level and got my face slammed in by a demon train. It was awesome.
That game is so good. That is very Castlevania.
It is. It definitely feels like I'm playing an NES Castlevania game.
But the main game, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, got a release date this week.
Really?
Yes. PS4, PC, and Xbox One, the game will be out on June 18th.
That's soon.
And Switch owners will have to wait 7 extra days.
You win some, you lose some.
Because that game will be available on the 25th. So, the developers released a trailer this week and showed off a bunch of changes. I think, Ethan, you had shown this to us.
Yeah, it was basically a bunch of, I guess you would call it quality of life improvements. Like, color-wise, everything looks better. Backgrounds have been changed in a lot of places just from the backer beta testing, or whatever you want to call those demos. So yeah, it's a lot to look forward to on there that's been changed graphically, and it should look amazing when it comes out now.
It does look, the changes that they made do look really nice.
Yeah, it's like they took a gray filter off of the original game or something.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised they were that transparent. I mean, they did side-by-side comparisons, kind of like a Digital Foundry video, and showed like old and new side-by-side comparisons of the same scenes. It was very cool.
Yeah, and it is much brighter now. I mean, it's not like bright, bright.
Not like turning up contrast. It's like they went back and recolored it and said, "Hey, this looks better."
And it makes it feel more like a classic Castlevania game, because while those games were on black backgrounds, all of the characters and the sprites and things were all really colorful. So
yeah, for the most part, they were colorful and popped out more. But depending on which game you would play, from Castlevania would also depend how it looked sometimes. Like, was it Harmony of Dissonance or something compared to Aria of Sorrow?
Yeah.
Just they looked very different compared to each other.
So, but we are just about 6 weeks away from the release of those games. Or that game. And I imagine all of us will probably be playing it.
Absolutely. It's also a budget title on Switch, which was surprising. Like,
is
for
it
this
30?
to be,
Or is it 40?
I think it's 30. It's well, either way, if it's 30 or 40, it's not 60, which is
Yeah.
what I was expecting.
Let me see if it's on the eShop right now. It's going to be that price for everybody too. It's not like a full price
Right.
game for. Where is the coming soon section? There it is. I just happen to have my Switch sitting right here. It doesn't look like it's up yet. No, it's not on the coming soon section yet. So
Okay, so the physical copy on Amazon is 40. So it's entirely possible that the digital copy may be about $10 cheaper because that's pretty standard nowadays.
Hmm.
But
still, it's going to be
yeah,
a cheaper game, which is nice because
right.
they could have put this out at 60,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not. So, there you go. That is it for the news, though. So let's move on to listener feedback. And our first one comes from Cole via Facebook, and we're looping back to the beginning of the news, and he wants to know, do you think that the studio making the new Sonic movie did the right thing giving in to fans' high expectations?
No.
No, but I mean, it's great that they are.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have to do anything. They could just take all the angry comments and be like, get over it. But
It sets a sort of dangerous precedent for movies going forward.
They're giving Twitter too much power.
And Twitter does not need that power.
No.
someone compared it to the situation to the Sekiro conflict or problems that have been going on the last month as well, where people are asking for an easy mode and other people are like, no, the game's supposed to be hard, get over it. And in this case, everyone's, no, we want the change, and now we're getting the change. For the Sonic movie, not for Sekiro.
I don't know that those situations are completely comparable, though.
They're really not, but at the same time, they're both situations that we don't have to, we're not supposed to get what we're asking for, really, but we are in this case.
Yeah. No, I completely agree that the creator has the power over the final product. And they should be the ones that make that final say. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. That it's sort of, you know.
If anything, it's really nice that they're considering that the fan feedback has been very negative, and they want the fans to be happy, so they're gonna fix it, and hopefully it's better when it's fixed.
Yeah, I think what the Sonic producers should have done is screen this to people before
Test
it got
audiences.
to this point, yeah.
Or at least release the design for Sonic out and have like a public vote for which design would be best.
Yeah.
Just you know what? Christian Whitehead should be on.
Yes. Just don't even finish. Just yes.
He should be on their consult staff.
No, see, it's got to come out first, and then he goes back and remakes it.
Yeah, there you go. So, the Sonic Mania movie will be fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Don't get my hopes up, Tony. I would love a little animated series in that style, just more of what they've already released on YouTube from those 5 little videos they did.
Yeah, an anime in that style would be fantastic.
Absolutely. I'd watch 26 episodes of that.
I would too.
No voices, just that.
You
know, that'd almost be okay.
Yeah.
If they had that what's the team that did the music for Sonic Mania, the Best Friends song that like headed all of the trailers and stuff. Oh man.
You can tell a good story without a single line of dialogue.
Absolutely.
So do something like that. Just do something crazy.
Hyper potions. They need to get hyper potions to just make it like an Interstellar 55-55, and I would watch that all day.
And to go along with this, Lorenzo via Facebook wants to know, Pokemon movie or Sonic movie?
Both.
Pokemon.
I'd have to choose Pokemon.
I'm definitely going to go see both in the theater, and I have a 5-year-old boy who will want to see both day one. So
Oh, I'll see them whenever they're showing around here. It's just right now it's Pokemon, top
Yeah.
priority.
Yep. Until I get another Assassin's Creed movie.
Wasn't there one on Netflix?
They've released like a short, but I'm talking like an actual Assassin's Creed movie.
Starring Magneto in part 2.
There you go.
I'd watch it.
Federico via Facebook wants to know, does your significant other play any games with you? If not, have you tried to get them to? If yes, did they play before you met? How do you manage your playtime? Whenever I play, he said his girlfriend thinks he's bored of her but he just wants to play sometimes.
So, before Lauren and I met, she's a light gamer. She enjoys a whole lot of phone games.
Yeah.
She enjoys a lot of classic stuff. She came up in a family with a Genesis and a PlayStation 1. I think they had a GameCube as well. So, she took part in every generation in some way, shape, or form. Getting her to sit down and play games with me, I have tried a handful of different things, and she's not typically into the same kind of stuff that I like.
Mm-hmm.
She says Animal Crossing is too much of a chore and she doesn't enjoy it, which I think is blasphemous, but it's okay.
Speaking of Animal Crossing, I have to Shannon, you helped me out today with some Animal Crossing because my 6-year-old daughter is now becoming obsessed with that game, and I think
okay.
I think I have a Shannon on my hands.
Embrace, support. It's all going to be okay.
She just made her down payment to Tom Nook for her first house, and she is over the moon ecstatic to get out of that tent and into for her first house. It should show up tomorrow, so she is very, very, very happy about that. And then you helped her out by giving her a ton of fruit and an axe because she couldn't find an axe anywhere, and she wanted one.
You don't typically get an axe for the first week. It takes a while before they start showing up in the store.
Yeah.
But hot tip, the New Leaf, it is the easiest game to get a golden axe. 100% easiest game. All you have to do, when Leaf eventually has his own shop in your town, which I think is the second or third upgrade of the Nook shop, the Nook Kid shop.
Yeah.
When Leaf eventually has his own little store, start buying the pine tree saplings. When you buy 31 pine tree saplings, and they don't even have to be consecutive, it's not like you have to go back every day, you just have to buy 31 pine tree saplings, he gives you a golden axe just because he's like, you're doing such a good job planting, but we may have too many of these trees. Yeah, it's the easiest game to get it in. But
Okay.
and you don't even have to plant them. You can just buy them and sell them back to Nook. So
Yeah. So you're just buying the same tree over and over and over again.
right, buy the same tree over and over. And you may want to teach her the proper way to plant trees. Don't plant them right next to each other.
No, because you can't see.
Yep. I always build my towns in quadrants. So like I know this quadrant is my apple orchard, this quadrant is my lychee orchard.
Yeah.
And then you get crazy and you start harvesting them on specific days for specific groves. And this is the day that I get all my lychee. This is the day that I get all my pears.
That's too much. It's too much. All right, back to the question.
Oh yeah. So yeah, she says Animal Crossing is too much of a chore. However, when we as Nintendo Oki, when we got the review code for Sonic Mania and all of us were doing something else, she volunteered with bells on to review that game and loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So, she enjoys playing games. It's just, and as far as you talk about your significant other it feels like you're not interested in her when you just want to play games. that takes working out a system. I mean,
Yeah.
I am a father with 2 kids and a wife, and the usually the way things work around here is I'm provided one evening a week that I get to sit down and play whatever I want in front of the television, and it's quite nice to have it on the calendar every week and just know that, hey, this week it's going to be Friday afternoon, or on the occasional Saturday I may have 10 hours where I'm home alone to sit down and play something. Like if I want to play Bayonetta, I can't play it with kids in the house, and I'm almost certain my wife won't sit down and watch while I play something like that. So, it's nice to have a system and work that out ahead of time.
Yeah, see, in my house, Heather and I will typically play games like Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune together. We used to play Mario Kart a lot, but she hasn't liked the newer Mario Karts. Like Wii was the last one we really played a lot together. But we do play a lot of Jeopardy, a lot of Wheel of Fortune, stuff like that. And then, or just trivia games in general and things like that. That's what we like to play together. And then typically for, when do I get to play and how do I manage all of that? I don't play a lot when people are awake. The daytime before the little kids go to bed, all of that is family time. So I don't sit down by myself and play much of anything at all during the day unless I'm playing with them. So like if I'm playing Smash or I'm playing Mario Kart with the kids, something like that. But when the little kids go to bed, everybody kind of separates and we get a couple hours to ourselves to just do whatever we want. You can watch something, read something, play something, it doesn't matter. That's typically when I play a lot of my stuff, is that 2-hour period in the evenings. After the little kids have gone to bed, the older kids are doing their thing. We have our separate time to go do whatever we want. And then after that, we come back together and we usually, watch something together before we go to sleep.
Something I learned very early as a father: sleep is practice for death and not worth your time. Oh man. And also, hot tip: don't ever play Tetris Battle Gaiden with your significant other. It might as well just.
I know your wife will murder you in that game.
Oh my gosh!
Without a second thought.
She's so good at it. She's so good at it that she had to stop suggesting it as a way to solve debates or disputes in the house. Like we occasionally video games get used as a way to solve disputes. We've used the original PlayStation copy of the Game of Life for that purpose. We've tried a couple of different versions of Tetris. What was the Dive Kick? We've used Dive Kick to solve disputes, and it's. Don't do Tetris Battle Gaiden, or as it has been dubbed, Tetris Marriage Ruiner. So
there you go.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
You don't want to play My Wife and Dr. Mario. That's the game. She will murder anybody in that game. So. So there you go. What about you, Ethan? Any advice on that?
Let's see. Last girlfriend I had lived in Vietnam, so there was no video games playing together. The one before that, no. The one before that, no. And the one before that, no. So I have no advice because no one played games with me.
Oh, I played a game with you earlier.
You're not a wife, girlfriend, or significant other.
That's true. Our last question this week comes in from Nathan via Facebook, and he wants to know, what is something you can't stand in video games, like a certain trope? For him, it's QuickTime events. He thinks QuickTime events are outdated and should be done away with.
And I disagree. I think QuickTime events in the right game make
if
for
used
a great
properly.
game.
If used properly, yes.
Because QuickTime events in things like Metal Gear Rising or Azura's Wrath
or
God of War, that stuff is awesome.
Yes.
But not so much a fan of QuickTime events in Resident Evil 4. I wanted to throw my controller so many times fighting Wesker.
That was the knife fight scene before you got to Wesker.
Or yeah, that sucked.
I,
That
I
was it
can't
was
remember that guy's name, but
terrible.
God, that. Mm.
Oh, so bad.
Or the quick time events in Heavy Rain, like just the driving part on there. I actually did throw a controller because I was turning to the because you had to physically turn your controller, so it slipped from my grip. It got thrown
Mm.
partially on purpose because I couldn't make the turn. Stuff I hate in games like quick time events. Hmm.
I think the kind of things that I really hate are things that I'm noticing in Crash Bandicoot with terrible camera angles. Um, but that's sort of a thing of the past at this point, really. Um, 3D platforming where you can't see where you're jumping is a problem.
Pretty much anything where it forces the camera behind you, even though you have camera control.
Yeah,
It's like, why am I allowed camera control if you're just going to force it behind the character and now I can't see what I'm trying to do?
Okay, I got one that I cannot stand, and this is specifically tied to Forza, and that is I am so sick of particular DLC content being tied to retailer exclusive pre-orders. It's insanely frustrating to have to pre-order a game from 3 different stores
yeah,
to get all of the DLC cars and then think you're getting all of the DLC cars and then find out that 2 of the pre-order DLC cars weren't ever like one of them was to the UK only and then the other one Toys R Us went out of business before the game came out, so
Oh,
they just never put the car out. And now my pre-order cars are out of sequence. Like I pre-order car 1, 3, 4, and 5. It's it's irritating
yeah.
when you're trying to complete the garage and you just see that blank spot for a pre-order car that never came out. It's
Yeah, I can
retailers
imagine that's frustrating.
or publishers don't do that. Don't do that.
bad
You
publisher.
know what?
Stop that.
Just just don't, if you're going to make pre-order DLC, make it like pre-order only for the first 12 months and then sell it.
Don't, no, not 12 months. I hated waiting a whole year so I could get
Yeah,
that gray
12 days.
Gray Fox DLC on Metal Gear Rising. That was so bad because there's no way to find out how long that was exclusive to GameStop for, and I didn't buy it from them. Ugh.
Okay, don't make it that long. Make
I
but
like three
still,
months minimum. Minimum.
I'd be okay with that. I just I'm so sick of stuff being tied to a retailer, especially if it's a retailer that I can't I can't even pre-order anything from because there isn't one locally, or they sell out of pre-orders beforehand, or it's irritating stuff. Like I bought Blue Reflection, and there's a whole lot of content tied to Blue Reflection. Shelby and I've talked about this RPG before, and Koei Tecmo never sold that DLC. It's only for people who pre-ordered it, and that game just never took off. So there's a handful of systems out there with this cool outfit DLC stuff for these characters that I'll never get to see or use.
I think the best advice I can give for what should never be put in a game is just take Sonic 2006 and don't do that. And I actually found out recently that there was a superior version of that game, and it's the demo for the 360.
What?
There was a specific demo made, I think it was for the E3 version or something along that, and it was made just for the 360. They released it publicly, and it fixed so much of the game's issues, improved load times, I think was a thing on there. But there was the primary console was PS3, and so Sega's like, well, we're not going to do this even though it's better. We're going to cripple it so it works on everything the right way.
Yeah.
So PS3 actually ruined a game. Thanks, Sega.
Wow.
Even though they had the improved version, they could have fixed everything on, and that game would not have been as horrible as it actually is.
Yeah. Okay. I think the thing that gets me most as I get older,
Yes, you just get older.
console exclusives. Like, I understand why they're a thing, but I don't like them.
Can we just get a new Dreamcast?
That'd be awesome.
If they make a Dreamcast Mini,
Oh man.
man,
Oh man.
they're making a Genesis.
It's a
It's-
possibility.
They're thinking over the CD and Saturn.
Just
stuff.
wait till you get the 32X and all the add-ons and. for
I
the-
would be thrilled to have those add-ons just for that little console. Just make this ridiculous little transformation into a bigger console.
They should totally do that.
Do it, Sega. Do it.
Well, I think that'll be the perfect way to end the show. So thank you, Shannon, for being on the show this week.
Pleasure as always.
And thank you, Ethan.
I really want that console now.
If you want to reach out to us, we have tons of new ways to do so. You can email us at podcast@procgent.com. That's PROCGENT.com. You can send us a voicemail if you want by clicking on the voicemail link on the right side of the website. You can send us voicemails up to 90 seconds in length, and we'll play those on future episodes of the show and respond to the questions that you have. If you like what we do here, you can now support us on Patreon, patreon.com/pgint. Patreon supporters will get a video version of the podcast a day early. These will normally go out on Tuesdays. Patreon supporters will get them on Monday. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel that we've got and see the content we've got going on up there. And then we still do have the Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.